going back.
Are you more likely to do that when your offensive line isn't protecting you well?
No, the first priority of a quarterback is to get the ball. It doesn't matter whether they're protecting you or not.
Second and 14. Peterson off the edge, right in his face. A screen for the Raiders. Zach Crockett just shy of the 45. Very few teams complete balls to the running backs like the Raiders. They've thrown almost none this year.
Well, it is a screen. Now, Zach does what he's supposed to do, except he's got to hit him just a little bit more than a tap on the shoulder to slow him down to set the screen up.
Ronald Curry in motion. Walter got some time, and it's caught for the first down by Curry to the 44-yard line.
This is as close to a real drive as the Oakland Raiders have gotten this year. Last week, they won a game against Pittsburgh on their defense. Their defense returned 2 picks for touchdowns. They only had 98 total yards in the whole game.
But what you saw there was you saw Andrew Walter drop back, plant his right foot, pat the ball once, and get the ball out. That's the rhythm that he has to have if this offense is going to succeed throwing the ball.
First time into Seahawk territory. Walter pressured, sacked for the 3rd time tonight. Rocky Bernard.
They're just taking turns.
3 sacks in the first quarter.
3 different people.
Wow. 3 different drives.
3 different drives.
Are we going to hear later on that Walter got jacked up?
No, we're going to hear we got buried. That was against Kevin Booth, the rookie right guard.
Rookie out of Cornell. He has been sacked like no other quarterback in 20 years. Once every 6 dropbacks. Only rookie Randall Cunningham, playing for Buddy Ryan, was sacked more often.
Oh.
Add to it.
All right, it's, you know, let's look for some mercy here. 4 times in the first quarter, he can't get out of his own way.
Let me tell you what you have to do. This is on the offensive coordinator. I mean, you can say what you have to move him out of the pocket. You cannot continue to drop him back 7 yards, 5 steps with this offensive line attempting to block for him.
You know, the offensive coordinator, Tom Walsh, received a lot of criticism because the last 7 years he was running a bed and breakfast in Idaho.
Forget the imagination of which you don't see any on offense. You can't just stand somebody 6, 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage and not expecting to get hit all the time.
3rd and 21. You got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me.
In Little League, they end this. It's the 10-run rule.
Craig Terrell with the sack. 3 plays in a row. Seattle sacks officially 5 in the quarter.
And by the way, Seattle's defense in recent weeks has been an abomination. They gave up 499 yards to Kansas City, 368 to St. Louis, 362 to the Bears, and they're getting healthy on this kid.
Punt by Leckler. And banged it through the wind. Unreturnable Seattle ball at the 20, and here's Michelle.
A little more on Seneca Wallace, Mike. A couple of years ago, quarterbacks coach Jim Zorn noticed that Seneca was having a tough time concentrating in meetings, and he wasn't able to necessarily take the terminology out onto the field with him. So he encouraged Seneca to take some cognitive learning classes here in town. And so before the 2005 season, Seneca spent 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, for 10 weeks in these classes. He improved dramatically. He said it helped him immensely, and Jim Zorn said, we'll credit those classes for turning Seneca into the player he is now, Mike.
And what a great job by Zorn to notice, and what a group of teachers. Jim Zorn, a terrific scrambling quarterback, the first quarterback in this franchise's history. Mike Holmgren, the quarterback guru, and Matt Hasselbeck, a Pro Bowl quarterback last year. First down from the 20, and here is Wallace. He has some elusiveness, and that pass is complete to DJ Hackett for a gain of 6.
To add to what Michelle was talking about as far as his education, as far as learning to study, the reason why Mike Holmgren wanted a quarterback that is mobile because you don't get a lot of snaps in practice. You don't have an opportunity to get a lot of reps. And he wants a guy who can go in if things do break down and they're not as smooth to be able to get out and make plays with his legs. It makes sense.
Very interesting to hear him say that you think that you want a different guy in your number 2 quarterback than your number 1
instead of the same type of one. Yeah.
Maurice Mars gains the first down. Flag down as he gets to the 34-yard line. Tommy Kelly was chasing. Let's see what Bill Carollo has here. Face mask.
Face mask, 93, 5 yards only, first down.
On Kelly. Well, you talk about Seneca Wallace's running ability. This is the play in Ames, Iowa. In Iowa State recent football history against Texas Tech, scrambling, running. He ran and they clocked it a total of 135 yards on this unbelievable 12-yard touchdown run in a game the Cyclones beat Texas Tech in 2002. And as I said, an Iowa State program that was really moribund, really down. He, along with Dan McCarney, their head coach, put on the map with that running and throwing ability. And that was really the last time we saw Seneca Wallace for a while. As I said, he's been here 3.5 years without playing. Complete to DJ Hackett, who's become his favorite receiver here early on. A dozen of his career completions to Hackett.
Did you see what Mike Holmgren has done with him? That time it was just a pure sprint out. And that's what Tom has to do on the other side. That's what the offensive coordinator, Tom Walsh, has to do with Andrew Walter moving. Just a flat sprint out. Get them outside, let your receivers make catches for you, and not give the defense a standing statue to go after.
Could be the final play of the first. Mars in for the injured Alexander, takes it just shy of the 40 as the first quarter comes to an end. With the win, Seattle does what it needs to. They pressure the Raider quarterback and have a 10-0 lead.
Haagen-Dazs is so thick and creamy. That's why it melts so slowly in your mouth. So the deliciously rich experience lasts and lasts and lasts. And why not try Bailey's ice cream from Haagen-Dazs? The perfect combination. Haagen-Dazs, the longer-lasting pleasure.
Play football. The 2006 Buccaneers will spend this season as they did their last, pillaging offenses around the league. Rondé Barber, number 20, has created nearly 40 turnovers in his career and is a playmaker on a defense that was ranked number 1 in 2005. No one matches the strength and intensity of linebacker Derek Brooks, the unquestioned leader in Tampa Bay's reign of defensive domination.
Start of the second quarter here in Seattle. Seahawks leading 10-0 at the halfway point of this NFL season. Another Tony, Best Director.
Best Director to Bill Parcells, who saw just about enough of Drew Bledsoe on his back and throwing bad interceptions and went to Tony Romo. And Tony Romo wins the first game on the road in Carolina. And by the way, should have won yesterday in Washington. Put his team in position to win that game with a reasonably short field goal. So Parcells going to Romo, Best Director.
I totally agree. The decisions that Tony Romo has made, the way he has thrown the football in the last 2 weeks, playing as well as most quarterbacks in this league. I mean, I think too.
Be fair, when he pulled Bledsoe, you went crazy.
I didn't. Well, I knew he had to, because when he threw the second interception in our meetings with him, he had laid the groundwork that position cannot continue to make mistakes, and it did.
For all that, Dallas is 4-4, 2 behind the Giants in the East. Marth holds on, wraps up to the 14, gain of 29, first down.
This sort of bears repeating. Sean Alexander was averaging 2.9 yards before he got hurt. Maurice Morris is averaging 2.9 since Sean got hurt. And they're just running right through the Raiders right now.
And Michael Huff was the strong safety that came up to try and make a tackle. The #1 pick out of Texas got schooled on trying to tackle an NFL back in the open
they've
field.
gone the whole season. They're not gaining any yards on the ground. Look what they're doing tonight.
After the longest Seattle run of the year, they go to Max Strong, and the fullback keeps the play alive to get to the 10. Warren Sapp on the bottom of the pile. Michelle, more about Maurice Morris, who's running for Alexander.
Yeah, filling in some big shoes, and Sean Alexander was on the sideline with him tonight, giving him some advice after the first drive because he had some troubles. I asked Maurice about the kind of advice he gets from Sean. He said the biggest thing is whenever the run game is not performing is to stay patient. Take what the defense gives you, even if that's 2 or 3 yards. Don't take a risk that ends up, meaning a 5-yard loss. Well, clearly tonight it's working a little bit better. Sean Alexander's advice aside, he's had a couple of big ones. Not like earlier in the season, Mike.
Morris out for the moment. Michelle Wallace's toss is incomplete for Jeremy Stevens, the tight end, who bumps with Stuart Schweigert, the safety, and a flag does come in. We'll see who it's on. On Stevens, who of course got into that verbal during the week of the Super Bowl with Joey Porter and did not have a good Super Bowl.
Unsportsmanlike conduct for taunting. Number 86, offense after the play is over. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot will count the down.
So often in sports, they always get the retaliation. That time they got the guy who deserved the flag.
Right guy.
Well, he hit him once, and then like he was the first and third guy.
Right.
He had more. I mean, you're in scoring position, you're moving the ball, you're dominating the football game. Mike Holmgren doesn't believe in it. He felt like it went both ways, but you can't put yourself in a situation where the officials can even think about doing that.
Mike wanted to know who made the call. It was the back judge, Bob Wagner, and when Mike looks at it, he'll find out that Bob was right on the money on that call. So now it's 3rd and 22. And a flag will push it back. Remember, this is going into the wind, which is picked up with the rain.
False start, 88, offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And Tula Mealy, the tight end who's in when Stevens came out to get ripped by Holmgren.
And when you saw Mike Holmgren turn around that time, that's who he was addressing his comments to. Also remember, had 3 balls he dropped in a Super Bowl a year ago. Jeremy Stevens had an opportunity in the Super Bowl to make some big plays. Mike Holmgren doesn't want him on the football field.
Did you see that?
Get out.
The formation, the package was almost when Stevens was supposed to go, and you're not going, and get back here. From here, a field goal is 47 yards, so they run with Strong to get about 3. This is going to be tough. 44 yards into the wind and rain that is picked up.
Holmgren angry. Look at that face.
And he's red-faced, too.
That is bitter beer face that he's got right there.
Yeah.
Josh Brown, who hit that quote-unquote walk-off 54-yard game-winning field goal at the gun in St. Louis. Tough conditions here into the wind and rain from 45, and flags are down. It was long enough to make it, but boy, this is a stuck-in-reverse moment for Seattle.
Already been penalized 20 yards on this backwards drive.
Mike can't find enough people to yell at on the sidelines.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 90, defense, disconcerting.
Disconcerting signals call on Trudell Sands. You are not allowed to call out something that simulates
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
the sound of the snap, and because it's unsportsmanlike, it's an automatic first down, and that is just as bad, if not worse, than the Stevens penalty.
Sure. Explain that again. What do you mean? What are you not allowed to simulate?
What happens is the defense, you get into a quarterback's cadence, or in this case, a kicker's cadence.
Right.
If you're the defense, you cannot simulate that type of a cadence so that it makes the offensive line think that the ball should be snapped.
So that's only a penalty that a referee could call if he hears it.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
Only the Raiders, 4th and 24 after they tripped on their own shoe and had it at the 10-yard line. You back them all the way up, and then you give them not just the penalty for a closer field goal, but the automatic first down.
I would venture that that penalty would be called less than 5 times a season.
It's the second time in as many weeks it's been called. It was called in a game I was watching last week.
Well, I got the rest of the season to go 3 more.
That's right. So Wallace has it. It's 1st and 10 for the first down, and it's dropped by Stevens. He was hit very hard by Kirk Morrison, but had a chance to atone for his error and did not.
How about Mike Holmgren? You get so upset with the guy, and then what you do is you call his number. You set the play up. This ball hits him right in the chest, and he flat drops it. Similar to what we saw in Super Bowl 40 against the Pittsburgh Steelers when he had a couple of opportunities to make some plays.
Dropped that one before he got hit. It was not the contact. The drop was before that. How's Holmgren going to deal with him now? Is he even going to look at him?
No. Now you get ignored.
He used the first exit ramp possible to the bench. 2nd and 10, Maurice Morris runs it to the 11-yard line. Stevens, of course, played his college ball up here at the University of Washington in Seattle. His 3rd game back since the knee injury. He had surgery in April to repair a left meniscus problem and had not played from the Super Bowl until the 6th game of the season.
And this offense, the Seattle offense, is the purest form of what we'd consider the quote-unquote West Coast offense. The tight ends are very valuable and necessary for this offense to be effective. So he can't continue to make those kind of mistakes.
3rd and 7, Morris becomes a pass receiver. Wallace's toss is complete to Darrell Jackson, tackled by Robert Thomas. And the play by the 5th-year man of UCLA sets up another field goal attempt.
Good job by the Raider defense. This is the 2nd time they've kept Seattle out of the end zone and given their offense, I wanted to say a chance.
Well, they haven't shown that yet.
But they're trying to give him a chance.
Are you rooting for this field goal so I can get closer to Tirico's team? Are you?
I'm not involved in this. You guys battle it out. I'm neutral.
We're 60 down right now.
Brown from 26, so
57 down.
Close.
No harm done by the flag on the Raiders. It's still a field goal for Holmgren's team. They're up 13.
Play football. After spending his entire career with the Colts, Edgerrin James decided to fly the coop this past offseason and land with the Cardinals. With 5 1,000-yard rushing seasons under his belt, James will add a much-needed edge to the Cardinals' running game. With James joining Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan Bolden, and Kurt Warner, the Cardinals should be flying high in 2006.
ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by GMC, we are professional grade. IBM, what makes you special. Men's Warehouse, need a suit? And NFL.com, vote for the 2007 Pro Bowl teams. Log on now, it's all on NFL.com.
The Experience Music Project Museum here in Seattle opened in 1977. Co-founder Paul Allen, owner of the Seahawks. This museum houses more than 100,000 musical artifacts, shattered Jimi Hendrix guitars, handwritten Kurt Cobain lyrics, among others. So Paul Allen co-founded that and also co-founded Microsoft.
Pretty good.
Good.
Pretty
Not
good.
bad, huh?
I think one a little bit more profitable than the other, but pretty good on both ends.
Yes.
Have you noticed coming back from the breaks, we've been playing Jimi Hendrix, Seattle native.
Which one do you think he's more tickled with?
Maybe the music.
I think so, the music.
Maybe the music.
I know he still plays in a band.
Yes, he does.
Plays in a band.
Kelly Jennings comes back down to hold for Andrew Walter. He's been sacked 5 times in 14 plays here tonight. Wind affected. Brown keeping it low. Carr gets it from the 8 and returns it to the 29-yard line. Well, it's been a rough night for Andrew Walter so far. Sacked 5 times. The NFL record, most sacks in the game since they've been keeping track of the stat, 12. will they get there tonight?
Hi, I'm Tim McCarver, inviting you to watch my show exclusively here on NASN, Europe's #1 channel for North American sports. Please tune in each week as I interview the biggest stars and sports legends. Don't miss Chevrolet's Tim McCarver Show right here on NASN.
Peering through the clouds down into Quest Field, which opened 5 seasons ago, right on the site of the Kingdom. Kind of an eerie shot if you're just joining us. Record rainfall here in the Puget Sound area, but it has not been too bad here tonight.
Gonna take a shot for Randy Moss at some point.
Walter trying to buy some time and completes it to Randall Williams. First down, gain of 14. SportsCenter 30-30. And here's Bill Peta. Thank you, Bill. Justin Fargas is chased down by Rocky Bernard. Of course, Fargas is the son of Huggy Bear from the old Starsky and Hutch. And speaking of actors, we have an actor here in the booth. Man who starred in television and movies. Christian Slater joins us. Welcome.
My pleasure. Thanks. This is amazing.
First time at this stadium here, Quest Field, Seattle?
Yeah, first time here, and it's just landed and showed up here, and it's quite overwhelming. This is like God's seat here.
It is a good spot.
Yeah.
One of the best crowds in the league as well. Second in a dozen. Walter loading and going deep. Overthrowing Jerry Porter, seeing one of his first snaps of the evening. There's a huge movie coming out here in a couple of weeks called Bobby. It's about Bobby Kennedy, and you are part of a great ensemble cast in that movie. Who are some of the people in the movie with you?
Yeah, the cast is it's like an incredible team, like the Seahawks tonight. I mean, it's Anthony Hopkins, Sharon Stone, Demi Moore, Ashton Kutcher, Lindsay Lohan. It's about Bobby, but it's about people, our good points, our bad points, and everything in between.
It's one of the big movies of the season coming out in a week. We'll visit with Christian Moore after third and a dozen. There will be a timeout taken.
Timeout taken.
By the Raiders.
Christian, I remember watching you in a very early movie that I loved, Heathers. It's probably almost 20 years ago at this point.
That's
and
right.
you almost did a Jack Nicholson character as a young man.
Yeah.
What was that like? Did you deliberately pattern it after him?
Well, when I made that movie, I think The Witches of Eastwick had just come out, and I was totally enamored, completely enamored by his performance in that, and one thing just kind of fell into the other. So there you go.
There's the invitation we were hoping for.
It's a Nicholson.
Now, how big a football fan are you?
Oh, buddy, I got friends that are huge fans. I mean, look, I flew all the way from L.A. I waited in an airport for 8 hours to get here.
My favorite team?
Well, the Jets. I grew up, my dad used to take me to games. You know, I saw Joe do this. And, you know, so I go back to the Jets. I'm a New Yorker at heart.
Jets have a big game this week with the Patriots. Only 2 games out in the AFC East. 3rd and 12. After the timeout, Walter has some time.
Oh, look at that.
To Randy Moss, right at the line, depending on the spot. It looks like they're going to be just a hair shy of the first down.
Just a hair shy.
Check what happens here on 4th down. So, Christian, you do TV, movies, Broadway as well. Which is the one you enjoy the most?
Well, doing a movie like Bobby was a phenomenal experience. It was almost like doing theater. The way we shot it, working with all those wonderful people, and it turned out to be a beautiful movie. I got to see it at the premiere in Venice, and it got an 8-minute standing ovation,
wow,
which was something that I'd never experienced before in any film I'd ever done. So it's been remarkably phenomenal.
delay a game here on the Raiders. Well, the clock was reset, so check that. It's going to be fine to get off the punt as the Raiders choose on 4th and less than a yard to kick it away.
Oh, look at that kick.
Leckler will try to get it out of bounds. It will be a touchback. And Seattle will take over at the 20. So Seneca Wallace and the Seahawks, 3 drives, 3 scores, a touchdown and 2 field goals. His second NFL start continues after this.
You can't wrap them up against allergies, but you can treat almost every allergic reaction with Piriton. Piriton, for the family's allergies.
You're watching NASN, the North American Sports Network, a new and exciting sports channel dedicated to the best in live North American sports 24/7. On NASN, you can experience over 100 live NFL games this season, plus the playoffs and the Super Bowl live. Watch up to 175 regular season NHL games and live postseason, including the Stanley Cup Finals. Feel the excitement of live Major League Baseball with up to 260 regular season games and exclusive coverage of the World Series. NASN also brings you an exclusive lineup of college sports with live college football and basketball. And with a daily lineup of sports news, talk shows, highlights, and analysis, NASN is your channel for the very best in live North American sports. Visit NASN.com for scheduling news and information.
Well, the landmark of this beautiful city in the Northwest, the Space Needle here in Seattle. Right up there, enjoy a beautiful meal and a great view, even on a more cloudy night than the one pictured there.
That moon can't be from tonight.
No, it's a beautiful shot of the Space Needle. 13-0 Seneca Wallace and the Seahawks. Maurice Morris carries just for a couple of yards. Tyler Brayton on the tackle. We continue up here with Christian Slater.
Got Christian Slater. Now, you said that you went to the premiere in Venice, which we assume is not California, but actually in Europe.
Venice, Italy. The boats, the gondolas, the whole thing.
What are the premieres coming up, the premiere tour for you in the United States?
Well, you know, we did Venice, then we did Deauville, then we did London, then we did Los Angeles, then we go to Atlanta, we go to Washington, and then New York.
You and I are going to go?
These are all good. These are good places.
So I've invited you guys, of course, to go.
You get comped at the hotel, don't you? I mean, it's a freebie for you. Come on. You get a suite.
There's a certain amount of generosity
amenities
that comes into play.
That's
you know?
good. That's good.
Get to come here, get to sit in the booth with you guys. You know, life is good.
It's a good seat, isn't it?
It's a very good seat. I'm going to have to say hello to a friend of mine at some point.
Go ahead.
Now's a good time?
Absolutely.
Do it now. Hey, Michelle, wish you were here.
Michelle Tafoya.
Wow,
our sideline report.
we won't even press you on that
field
one.
and say hi
Thanks,
to Michelle.
buddy, yeah.
So,
There is a reason.
Third and 8 coming up here for the Seahawks. Josh Perry's in the game as a fullback along with Max Strong to block here out of the gun. This is rare to see the shotgun out of Mike Holmgren's offense.
That is rare.
They did not do it at all last year. And a flag there. We'll have 3rd and 13 coming up.
Just started after the Bear game this year. They found out.
False start, 68, offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
They found out that defenses started putting linebackers and safeties right in what they called the quote-unquote A gap, and that's the space between the center and the 2 guards. They couldn't block them because the quarterback was under the center.
Wow.
So now he decided to move Matt Hasselbeck back after that game, and now with Seneca Wallace, you get a little more mobility and a little more ability to move around.
Oh, it's fantastic. I need a jersey or something. I need to be a better fan.
3rd and 13. Wallace, and a sack for Warren Sapp.
Took him down.
Warren Sapp at 33 still has it. It's his 13th Monday Night Football game, his 10th sack on Monday night.
Let's see that again.
Give Warren Sapp an opportunity to go one-on-one. He's against Floyd Womack, pork chop, and manages to make the play on a very quick and elusive Seneca Wallace.
It's amazing. These guys just throwing themselves around.
You come here often, or is this the first time you've seen a game?
First time I've ever seen a game. It's amazing, really, what these guys do.
Ryan Plaquemire, the rookie out of Wake Forest, set to punt it into the wind. And the wind, he got a hold of that.
Oh.
Lucky to get a good bounce. He goes out of bounds at the 42. Christian Slater, enjoyed having you here. Thank you so much.
Hey, mate, my pleasure, really. Thank
Good luck
you very
with the
much.
movie.
Thank you. Yeah, Bobby,
We'll see you.
November
Thanks.
17th.
Good.
Lovely and talented Sid Sixero. Stop it. I'm the bald dude.
Catch all your sports news highlights and analysis daily on Score Tonight.
Woo! What's he doing? I don't know. Check this out, 720. For real, count it. Watch the move. Oh, you're my boy, Blue!
Score Tonight up to 3 times daily only on NASN.
Nurofen. Fast, targeted relief for pain.
Freedom for backs. New heat patches from Nurofen.
With the sack to end the last drive, and finally the Raider defense, which has played very well, only giving up 35 points in the 3 games before tonight, able to get Seattle off the field, and with the wind at their back, Andrew Walter, Randy Moss and company with an opportunity. Drive start at their own 42. Trying to establish a ground game. Lamont Jordan for the first down into Seahawk territory at the 47. Here's Michelle Tafoya.
Well, I'm standing by with the normally starting running back for the Seattle Seahawks, Sean Alexander. You were supposed to come back this week. What went through your mind when you didn't even get cleared for practice?
Well, you know, when you break a foot, it's always one of those things. You set a plan to come back, and when the x-rays came back, we were sick. You know, me, Coach Unger, and Lofa was with me, and it's just rough. But you know what? It's good. Our team's playing well, so I'm okay.
Hang on for the play.
It's 1st and 10, Michelle, after the gain of 11. Walter throws for Randy Moss. Separated from the ball by Marcus Trufant. Incomplete, 2nd down. Go ahead, Michelle.
Well, every Monday you get the foot x-rayed. Today's Monday. You saw it. What did you see?
This has been the best picture that we have had, you know, so, you know, I'm really excited. We got to still do a CT scan tomorrow morning at 6:30, but it's really, really good for next week.
It is good. You could be back next week. What makes this picture the best one?
Well, we finally see a little closure to the bone. You know, I've been healing from the inside out, so, you know, so today's been the best where I finally see some closure on the outside.
Flag down. Go ahead, Michelle.
How has it been for you missing your first action? I mean, you barely missed any in college. You've never missed a game until this season in the NFL.
You know, I'm always a person that tries to find some wisdom from everything, you know, so I thought, okay, with me being here, what could I do to get better as a person, as a teammate? And, you know, so I've just been reading a lot of books and being a great cheerleader.
Yeah, what have you gotten better at before I let you go?
You know what, just finding new ways to study film. You know, I mean, this line is totally different from the line I had. Ryan Hannum's not here, Jared Vitch is not here. I've got a different team, so I've got to learn some new moves to get us going. So that's what I'm going to do.
2nd and 15. Walter is sacked for the 6th time in this first half.
Sean's laughing. I think he's glad he doesn't play quarterback for the Oakland Raiders right about now.
We do a good job of keeping it loud, so, you know, our fans are awesome.
Thanks a lot. We'll look forward to seeing you back.
Hopefully.
Chris Terrell, number 93, just takes and pushes Jake Grove, 64, right back into the lap of Andrew Walter. I mean, that's a sack by an offensive lineman.
And Terrell is credited, Joe, for his 3rd sack of the night. None of those were shared. So Terrell's having a whole career in this half. He had only 2 career sacks coming into tonight. Walters trying to avoid a 7th sack. He does, and just runs out of bounds.
See, now this is a young quarterback, and what everybody looks like. Look, everybody watching Monday Night Football, the Raiders, the Seahawks, everybody sees your body language. Now, when you scramble out of bounds and you throw the ball in disgust and you hang your head, you got to be a good actor, okay? You have to.
But he's getting crushed. What do you want him to do?
But
you want him to be happy, smile, and
no. But hey, you go out of bounds, you go back, and you go back onto the field. You don't show disgust.
If anybody could show disgust at that offensive line, it would be Walker.
Weckler with the boot. Return by Nate Burleson. Taken out of bounds, just shy of the 20. By the way, guys, that last play was technically a sack because it lost a yard. 7 sacks tonight.
And here's a bunch of Andrew Walter trying to sit in the pocket. Doesn't have room to step up, has to slide around. It seems like every time he slides left or slides right or tries to step up, there's a Seahawk either grabbing at his feet, grabbing at his body, tackling him, throwing to the ground, being just abused.